You know that little blue book you need to travel? Ever stop and wonder what it really takes to make one? Well, today we're going to take a journey inside one of the most secure manufacturing facilities on Earth. This place is so locked down, people compare it to a military base. We're here to uncover the secrets of how the American passport is made.
And that's not an exaggeration. This isn't just some factory. We are talking about the U.S. government publishing office down in Mississippi. It is, for all intents and purposes, a fortress. This is where millions of passports are born every single year, and each one is basically a masterpiece of security. It's designed to protect not just your identity, but the entire nation. The stakes? Yeah, they couldn't be higher. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the fortress itself. Then the unforgeable canvas, the paper. After that, the impossible printing techniques. Then we'll get into the digital identity. And finally, wrap it all up with assembly and verification. Let's get started. All right, part one, the Fortress of Secrets. So why all the secrecy? Why does this document matter so much? Well, because a passport is way more than just a booklet for getting stamps at the airport. It's a physical declaration of who you are and where you're from. And that makes it a massive target for criminals, for terrorists, really anyone trying to cause trouble. A single fake passport in the wrong hands, that could be absolutely devastating. That's why its security is quite literally a matter of national security. Okay, moving on to the foundation. You might think it all starts with fancy printing, but you'd be wrong. The entire security of this document, it starts with the paper itself. And honestly, calling it paper really doesn't do it justice. This is where the battle against forgery truly begins. The official term for it is substrate. And really, what it is a super sophisticated foundation. It's made from a special blend of cotton fibers, just like the money in your wallet. And there's a reason for that. It gives the passport a really unique feel. It makes it incredibly strong and super durable. It's not something a counterfeiter can just go buy at an office supply store, not even close. Now, here's where it gets really clever. Woven right into this substrate are a ton of security features. We're talking watermarks, special security fibers that glow under UV light, hidden chemical tag-ends, and even security threads with tiny text on them. And the most important part, none of this is printed on the paper. It's baked into the paper as it's being made. It's part of its very structure, which makes trying to add it later, well, pretty much impossible. Let's just take the watermark for an example. The great seal you can see when you hold a page up to the light? That's not printed on there. It's created during the paper-making process by making some parts of the paper thinner than others. So when light shines through, the image just appears. It's an old-school trick for sure, but man, is it still effective. You just can't fake that. All right, so we've got our unforgeable canvas. Now it's time for step 3, printing the impossible. This is where those blank, secure pages are transformed into a complex web of images and text with layers upon layers of deception. And you have to understand, the passport has a two-pronged defense strategy. You've got overt security, that's the stuff you and I can see, things like holograms or ink that changes color. Then you've got covert security. This is the invisible stuff, like inks that only show up under a special UV or infrared light. It's for the border agents and their fancy equipment. The whole idea is that it can be checked quickly by anyone, but also deeply verified by an expert. Okay, one of the coolest printing techniques they use is called intaglio. This is some seriously old-school craftsmanship. Basically, they engrave an image into a steel plate, fill the grooves with ink, and then press the paper against it with incredible force. This creates a raised, textured feel. In fact, if you have your passport handy, run your finger over the main images. You can literally feel the raised ink. And when I say immense pressure, I am not kidding. We're talking tons of force per square inch. This isn't something you can do with an office printer. It requires these enormous industrial scale presses that are just massive. That unique tactile feel is one of the hardest things for a counterfeiter to replicate. Okay, here's another one you can check right now. Look at the numbers on your data page and tilt it back and forth. See how the color shifts, maybe from a copper to a green? That's called optically variable ink. It's made with these tiny microscopic flakes that reflect a light in a very specific way. And the best part? If you try to scan it or photocopy it, you just get one flat, boring color. It's a simple but brilliant defense. All right, we've gone from ancient craftsmanship to modern printing. Now it's time to talk about the high-tech heart of the passport. This is part 4, the digital identity. We're talking about that hard, plasticky data page and the tiny electronic chip hidden inside. This is where your identity gets a digital lock and key. So, that data page with your photo on it, it's not just a single piece of plastic. It's actually multiple layers of a material called polycarbonate, all fused together with heat and pressure. And here's the genius part. Your photo and your personal information aren't printed on top of it. No, they're laser engraved inside of it, burning the image into the middle layers. What does that mean? It means if someone tries to change the photo or alter your name, they have to physically destroy the page. It's just impossible to do cleanly.
And hidden away inside the cover is the e-chip. This little guy is basically a tiny, secure hard drive. It stores all the same information that's on your data page, including a digital copy of your photo. But the most important thing on that chip is something called a cryptographic signature. Think of it like a digital seal of approval directly from the State Department that proves without a shadow of a doubt that your passport is the real deal.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. A chip with all my data? Can't someone just scan that? Well, they thought of that. The cover of the passport actually has metallic shielding woven into it, which blocks any radio signals when the book is closed. So no, someone can't just walk by and skim your data. The chip will only power up and talk when the passport is open and placed very close to an official authorized reader. Your data is safe.
We've made it to the final stage, assembly and verification. This is the home stretch. We've got our printed booklet, our high-tech data page, and the chip-enabled cover. Now it's time to bring all these incredible components together and put them through one last, incredibly intense series of checks.
And the quality control here is, well, it's absolutely relentless. Every single passport goes under high-resolution cameras. Computer algorithms, basically AI, scan for any imperfection, any tiny flaw. And after the machines are done, a team of highly trained human experts checks it again. It's this perfect blend of technology and human skill. And the rule is simple. If a passport fails even one single test, it's immediately pulled off the line and destroyed. No second chances.
So, in the last few moments of its creation, that super strong polycarbonate data page is securely sewn, not glued, sewn into the booklet. The e-chip gets tested one final time to make sure it's working perfectly, and only after passing every single one of these checks is the document finally considered complete, ready to be sent securely to you. So, the next time you hold that little blue book in your hand, maybe as you're waiting in an airport line, just take a second to think about what's actually in your hand. It's not just some paper and ink. It's this amazing blend of centuries-old craftsmanship and the absolute cutting edge of digital security. It's a masterpiece of technology and really a symbol of trust that lets you travel the world safely. All of this, of course, leads to a pretty fascinating question. As technology just keeps leaping forward, and as the threats get more and more sophisticated, what does the passport of the future even look like? Are we talking about more biometrics? Maybe something linked directly to our DNA? Or could we see a completely digital passport that just lives on our phones? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, the cat and mouse game between the people who make these documents and the people who try to break them, well, that race is never, ever going to end.